Heyo. There's been a few sessions, and I need to do follow up stuff, but it's basically been the party getting their feet on the ground in the big new city of Prismus, and they're specifically inside of New Prismus, which is essentially an outskirts region where the population overflowed into, and so it's almost like its own small city in its own right. And they are particularly inside of the Warrens, which is a gnomish ghetto inside of this instance at an inn named Heads and Tails. And I believe the whole party has decided to stay the night there or approximately within the area. Is that correct?
They're adjacent.
Or
Yeah.
adjacent?
Lucy's going to sleep in the street like an animal because
Yeah.
because
Yeah, absolutely.
He's sleeping in the woods in the area.
So there's no proper woods. This is the most
What do you mean?
woodsy
you mean that place where bears are?
No,
there's
just
like
the
trees nearby.
trees outside that happen to be there.
Bears
more
are
than
where
that.
they want to be. Is the key scenario here.
And if they choose a pirate wharf, then honestly,
That's-
I'm pretty hyped.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You never know
That's a
what's
cool
a
bear.
polymorphed bear. Like, it's always the case. Or a
That's
reverse
why you
druid.
shouldn't eat animals in fantasy worlds.
Yeah, that's where shit gets really messed up. Where you're like, oh, I'm gonna
Well,
cook this
that's
bear, and you're like, this tastes like pork.
Very long pork.
Oh,
Where did long pork even come from? Who's the psychopath that thought, like, that's a good name for human meat?
it's probably a New
India.
Yorker, I would imagine.
No, it's India.
Oh, it's
from
India?
Really?
Hey, New Yorkers.
I don't know. That just sounds.
I love the pride in Strixie's voice, though.
There
It's
is
so
a
wholesome.
tradition for some religious sects in India in which the leader of the family, when he dies, parts of him, especially the meteor fleshes and his brain, are consumed as a token of his memory. And
That's-
that's where Longpig comes from, and also where the disease Kuru is very popular.
That's super cool. I
It's
just
cool.
imagined yo, hey, Vinny, we got this shipment of human meat coming in here. How are we gonna sell this? Call it long pork or something. Just put it out that's cheap.
Oh god.
I don't know if
I
it's
love it.
cooler to think of it as just like a really up like branding maneuver
Yeah.
or like part of religious tradition because it's still cool.
Absolutely.
But I kind of do like the idea of just like you just got like a Don Draper Madman type
Yeah.
like how do we get people to eat human meat?
Oh,
It's a tricky one.
Or like
People
Shark
have tried
Tank.
before. I mean,
It's like
the price is right, but the market's wrong. We got to change the market
Yeah.
then, Don.
Yeah. You see, there was this Irishman who made a fake essay about eating people, and the whole problem was his branding was all off. You see, we can make this work.
How do we pitch cannibalism?
Absolutely.
I think we could. I think we could make a case.
Okay.
We're smart people.
On that topic, which feels very in keeping with what's happening, let's see. Lucy or Zell? Which one you want? Which one wants to go first?
Lucy first.
Lucy first. Okay.
You will go first.
So you found a kind of spot like nearby because like there's still a lot of like kind of like grass that's kind of just been like patted down for people like walking. The main area, the center area of the Warrens is what's kind of been worn down the most. But it's not even cobblestones. It's just like padded dirt due to like foot travel, as well as some like smaller cart travel. So you can find a place that's like fairly comfy pretty easily. And as you drift off to sleep, you dream. And you feel something different about this dream. You're used to these being things you feel or see or envision and stuff that's imparted to you. This is different. You're in a large room that seems like a larger hall than you've ever been to. It's like the church in Chenwu with various sort of like space for people to sit or like kneel and whatnot. Not chairs in particular, but but there's this space here, and every one of them is filled with various people that you can't see but are there, and it goes for a long distance, and you can't see the walls, but yet there's torchlight that's like flickering there. But the most light that's happening is all the way down this hallway of people all kneeling in front of this massive stone steps, all the way to a singular throne on top that seems to have a light equivalent to the sun behind it, creating a silhouette of this figure on a throne. And you can't see their face or what they look like due to the shadow that's cast around them, but you know they are a regally dressed and heavily muscled individual who sits in a easygoing manner, but in one that easygoing, like that sort of easygoing mentality shows his sort of lack of concern for anyone who's like present before him. What do?
I can see light on the walls, but I can't see the walls, like on either side of
You
me.
can see what you presume to be torchlight, but the darkness goes far beyond that space. It's almost as if the torches would be suspended just in the air, inside of that manner.
What's behind me?
You look behind you,
Yes.
you see endless rows of people kneeling.
There's people kneeling also in front of me, like I'm in
Yes.
the middle of this large.
You're in
group.
a essentially like an alleyway, or like a space to walk in between all these people.
Do not like this. Can I tap someone? Are these alive people? Is what I want to know. Are these kneeling zombies or are they alive people?
You look at one, and you see flesh. You see breathing. You're certain of that. You don't see movement. They're like statues.
On either side, if it doesn't matter, just I want to touch someone.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like
You put out your hand slowly and place it on one of these beings' shoulders, and it feels like the equivalent to the stone that you're standing on, as if they're one with this place.
Do I see a door anywhere?
You do not see a door.
Is there like an exit sign or
There's
anything?
no exit that you can perceive.
We'll start. Yikes. I'll start walking towards the throne, I guess.
Okay. Every step that you have echoes out. as if, because you don't wear heavy boots, but it sounds like every step that you're taking is super specific and determined and focused, inside of this sort of unmoving space that you're in. And as you take steps closer and closer to this throne, the stairs almost seem to rise infinitely, infinitely higher and higher as you actually get closer and closer. Up until the point you are almost having to, like, stare up, like, totally vertically to see this individual up at the, like, up on top of the throne.
Is there a way to get up there, or do I have to like flip to go up?
Do you want to try and go up?
You know,
There's
like
still stairs. It just seems insurmountable to get up there.
Lucy doesn't use big words like insurmountable, so
Okay.
she's gonna try to find these things.
You move to take a single step, and your foot lands on the stair, and you see the figure stand up, look down at you, and go, kneel. And roll me a wisdom save.
Oh no.
Your knees buckle underneath you instantly. And you kneel. And as this figure gets up, within 5 strides, this figure is now before you. Every step, it seems like the hall extends another... It's just like shunting backwards. But yet he is always in front of you. And every step he takes, what looked like a blazing sun behind him follows him as he goes down. As if it is eternally attached to this individual. And this figure stands before you. You can't see his face. You can't see any of the visage behind... That's entirely shadowed behind this blazing sun behind them. And this individual, this being, reaches down towards you, and you feel 2 hands on both of your shoulders, as if they are cold and from the grave, that are gnarled and old, grab you and pull you back as you shunt all the way back to the waking world. And you wake with your axe held tight over top of your chest.
And suddenly missing the water and almost drowning.
Speaking of almost drowning, hey Zell,
Oh no.
um,
Yeah, hey.
so you're also having a restless sleep. In particular, you finally, after all the thoughts of the day occur, and you're able to sort of absorb this sort of thing, thinking on that strange spirit that you had that was going on there, your eyes close, darkness, you sort of become accustomed to, and then you drift into a dream where you are in what looks to be an infinite library. The problem is there's no floor, and you're holding onto the bookshelves desperately to not fall.
Can I try to pull myself up the bookshelves?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I will gladly do that. Is that like a strength check, maybe?
Athletics, or if you want to, acrobatics. I could be convinced either.
1 minute. It's not. Got it. Never mind.
Oh, there we go. All right, we're kicking it.
I was trying to pull up his page
Yeah.
because I forgot to pull it up because I'm so tired. And instead, it's like, did you mean this athlete? No. I did not mean
Absolutely.
this athlete.
Yeah.
Close though. Alright. Okay.
Sweats in also forgot to pull up my character sheet.
Yeah.
Well, now you have the
You're
time to
not
do so.
alone.
I do.
14. Yeah, you're able to pull yourself up and sort of like stabilize yourself between like getting your feet on like one of the like lower shelves and then holding on to like the other one. That's there, and you are just seeing that it's like it's infinite to your left, to your right, up, down. It's just forever.
Okay. I would like to look and see if I recognize any of the books on the shelf.
Okay, go right ahead. Roll me whatever knowledge you feel like would be appropriate.
Is a perception check okay with you?
Yeah, it'll give you different information, is all.
That's fine.
Very good. You quickly notice that these books, all of their names are like every title of these books is related to some event. There's no theories, there's no various subject matter, there's events. These are logs. Infinite logs from left to right that's occurring there. And since you got such a high perception, you're noticing there's a chill in the air in this place. There's something, it's getting colder. You can almost see that there's like a rime that's like approaching you from, I believe, your left side. Do you look?
Definitely. That is enough on its own to make Zell panic a little.
You look to your left and you see a figure walking on air, mainly composed purely of a robe that's entire body is seemingly crafted from the night sky, with constellations and astral bodies shifting among it as if it was just like an amorphous being. And it strides towards you. The ice that is summoned around this thing, coating the bookshelves as it steps on thin air towards you. And you feel the ice make it harder and harder for you to grasp the bookshelf.
I'm going to let go of the bookshelf with one of my hands and grab one of the books. Whichever one seems most interesting to me.
Okay.
At a glance.
You grab one of the books. You grab one of the books, and do you even like look at what the title is?
No, just grab a book and go.
Okay.
Well,
Uh,
not go.
go
but
where?
Just let go of one hand with one hand. Let go with one hand, and grab a book with it. A book,
Okay.
whichever one catches my eye the most.
You see one that has this intricate bronze sort of binding to it,
Oh,
and
bronze.
yeah, you instinctively go, yeah, okay, I'll grab that. It just makes sense. And I'm gonna need you to roll another athletics check.
Let's see. Shit.
As this being
The
grows
book
closer,
physically overpowers you.
as this being grows closer and having only one hand on the bookshelf, you can feel the ice start to form and your fingers getting numb, and you know you can't hold on to this, and the slight tingling pain on the tips of your fingers give out, and you fall.
Ah,
And you fall to the point, to like the actual like level that this being was standing on, and you break through something. Something in some invisible floor that you had no idea was there. You crash through it, and are left floating awash inside of infinite space from either side that you can actually see. Just stars and moons and bodies and everything shifting around, and that being is still at that point, upside down now inside of this space, continuing to move towards you.
okay. I'm going to hug the book to my chest if I still have it in my hands and watch the being.
You hug the book to your chest in this sort of like panicked thing. This is the only thing that you have in this scenario to actually like ground yourself in all of this kind of lunacy that's occurring. And you now see that there's, out of the book, there's seemingly moths that are flying out of it, and you're left in this strange cloud that's occurring, and you close your eyes for a moment, seeing this figure that you feel like you should know that you have interacted with in some aspect. You don't know when, you don't know how, but you feel something, and you wake up inside of a cold sweat. The bed that you have having sprouted mushrooms surrounding your entire
no.
body where you were sleeping.
Do I still have the book?
No,
Dang.
but on your arms that you held there, there's writing you see for a moment.
Okay. Do I know what it says?
I'm going to need a... Hit me with a perception check.
Got it.
13. Okay. You see the writing on your left arm that's saying that Zelmir Tasker is presumed dead. The house moves on without him, despite their knowledge of the otherwise.
Oh no.
Do you want to see what's on your right hand?
Yeah, I do.
You see on the right arm is the scenario where you see a single name from out of the like various jumbled jumbled wording there that seems to be like a various account that's just stands out. That's Lyle Tasker.
Okay, got it. Good to know.
There you go. Everyone else, you have a restful sleep.
Of course.
I'm not having horrific nightmarish visions of a past
Yeah.
I've tried to forget.
Zell is going to get up, put his boots on, grab his coat and his sword, leave everything else behind, and go for a walk.
Okay. You
What
step.
time of morning is it, Rich?
Yeah, what
It's
time of night it is?
probably
Oh,
like
late or morning?
2 a.m.
Ah.
So Zell gets up, fully armed and equipped, rattled, and walks out.
Not fully. Not fully.
Okay, not fully. Zell walks out of the heads and tails, slightly rattled to see Lucy in much the same state nearby.
I would know that accent anywhere. Stelko's going to go check on Lucy.
Cool.
Does Lucy notice him coming?
I can. How far are we, like, distance-wise?
You probably, because I imagine you were like, because you said you were like nearby, right? I'll say that you saw Zell come out of the heads and the head and tails, and you're like an odd 15, 20, maybe. I mean, feet.
Okay, so I would see Zell. Would I notice that they are, like, frazzled?
Insight check. You're too deep in your own head to really gauge other people currently. But you do have the idea that they don't seem, actively hostile.
Won't do anything. I'll sit there. I'll stare at my eyes.
Cool. Would Zell want to do an insight check on the other side? Because...
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Can't wait for double low wisdom individuals to be like, hey, are you doing good?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm doing great. Okay, that's a little better. You don't know Lucy super well, but you're also the idea that you're like, it's very rare that someone grips an axe that tight and everything's just fine. And you're also fairly, aware of how nightmares be, so with that in mind, you're like, maybe they're having a bad night too, because they got followed by a shadow demon.
Forgot that little detail.
Yeah, that little tidbit.
The one apparently only Zell's cared about whatsoever. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, you guys are awful casual about shadow demons.
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean you've done nothing about it? Anyway, Zell's going to stop maybe about 5 feet from Lucy.
Mhm.
And you see, like, this is the same man you met before, but this time he's not wearing his chainmail. He's holding his sword in his left hand. He hasn't even put it on a belt or anything. His coat's open and loose. It's not tied shut or anything. curl